Aaron Singerman PJ Braun here for Envision Medical, and we are here to talk about Project Small number 5. And I think we'll start this one out by talking about how we are feeling. And we both had the holidays.
Yep.
This past was Thanksgiving. I went to Houston, Texas. PJ went to Danbury, Connecticut to see his family.
Yep.
And I think since you have really more to talk about in this regard, let's let you go first.
Yeah, I had said in the last video that I was still feeling really good. I said I was feeling a little bit sore. Now when I went home, I was definitely not living my typical lifestyle. I was visiting friends, and I was definitely drinking a large amount of alcohol, I guess. And I would have to say that would probably be, something that would have to factor in of making me feel worse.
Sure.
Taking that out of it.
Did you bring all your medications with you?
Yes, I brought my medications with me. Which is great. That's one thing that's, when you go through a doctor, you can bring them right on the plane with you.
Yeah, no problems, right, of course. I brought my medicines all the way to Australia last year because that's a very nice thing.
I've had clients over the years saying, how do I bring my stuff on the plane? How do I hide it?
Of course.
Go to the doctor, go to Envision Medical Group, and then you don't have to do it.
Right.
So I did take all my medicines all the time, and I actually started feeling worse last week. I started feeling really tired. Which we did explain is a side effect of Clomid, but I also thought I was getting a little bit moody, perhaps, like maybe a little depressed.
Right.
And I definitely noticed that my sex drive did drop a little bit. I still have it, so that's a good thing, because I know some guys completely lose it. But I also don't have anybody in my life right now to have sex with anyway, so this is the time, I guess, to not.
It's perfect timing, right.
I'm very, very sore, and I think I really need to scale my training back a lot. My body is very achy everywhere.
Will you be able to do that, or is that something that'll be really difficult for you? Because you're not somebody, you seem to go in there with a mindset like that, and then it changes once it starts going.
And I think that right now what's going on is that I'm training really hard, and I'm making myself feel worse each time. And I need to factor that into play. My body is probably, still like evening itself out. Now I'm at the very end, and you are as well, of the Clomid phase. So I'm actually finishing it on Sunday, which will be in 2 days.
Right.
And in the past, usually you start feeling better after that. Other guys will say the same thing. So I'm looking forward to that phase. Now, one thing that I wanted to bring up, we didn't discuss this earlier, but the OsteoRx that we've been saying that we've been using, I actually forgot to bring it with me when I was on vacation. And I was curious if that could be perhaps the reason why I was feeling crappier. What's interesting is I started taking it again now this week, and I actually feel better.
Do you think it's because you're not drinking or anything, or do you think it's specifically
I'm sure that that's a factor.
But that there's something else.
Yeah, but I also think that how bad I was feeling, I was like, man, I really hope I'm not going to have to feel like this the whole time. And I actually feel better. I don't feel great still. I'm still like sore and achy, like I said, but it's definitely better.
Well, both of you and I take 3 OsteoRx a week, and it definitely has made a difference. Both of us, you especially, have tried OsteoRx while on, and you can take it while on. It's a selective androgen modulator receptor. It can be taken while on, while off by men and women. And I really never taken it at all, but I will tell you for sure that I have noticed people, this is a little extra detail, but I noticed that I'm still, when I take it, I'm still getting the morning wood.
Yeah.
And something I wasn't expecting.
You want to look for that.
Of course.
Because
it's a good sign.
If you're going to restore your natural testosterone production, you should be seeing that in the morning.
Of course. All right, so as far as I go, I've been feeling pretty good still. I am holding my weight. I've noticed that my composition of my body has changed more than my weight. I'm still at around 245 or so, but I can tell I'm starting to hold more fat in the lower back, kidney region than I was before. And maybe next time we'll take off our shirts, and I don't know if we'll do any posing, but we'll just show people, we'll show you where we're at. But as far as everything else goes, the only thing I've really noticed is that the desire to work out has been a little less.
Yeah.
I've been very busy with work stuff, and then traveling. When you're traveling with family, sometimes working out, unless you're dieting for a show or something, is not number one priority. And I found that I've been finding it difficult to get myself to the gym. Like today, we didn't go. Yesterday, I made myself go last night, and man, I was like, oh, I don't want to go. But once I got there and started doing it, it was okay. But it was much harder. I didn't look forward to it like I did in the past.
And that is very common, and that is also why a lot of guys during this phase actually take off from training for a while, because they just lose that fire.
Right. So let's go ahead and talk about some details that people on the board and emails we got specifically to kind of tie up some of these questions people had. And the first question people wanted to know, and was very, very, very interested, is what is our dosing schedule? What are we doing and when? And since you really designed our dosing schedule, and this is one of those things that everybody has different ideas. There's different philosophies on this, from the doctors to Dave Palumbo to people on the boards and bro science. Everybody has a different method. We decided to go with your method because it makes sense and because you've had a tremendous amount of success with your clients, and you got it and discussed it with other IFBB pros who are all using it and we're very happy with it. So it seemed like we had science on our side, we had your personal experience, and we had the experience of other people that are very knowledgeable. So we went with this plan. Go ahead and give it to me. Yeah,
so I've actually always come off once a year since I first started doing what we do. So I've been able to experiment with a lot of different PCT therapies. Now, obviously there are scientific approaches that are taken, but here's the thing: you have to have an element of bro science because there just simply isn't enough long-term study to truly know which ones are the ideal ways to do it.
Is there any studies on this kind of thing, or is it?
It's not something that they're really considering putting time into. So
why would they?
Trial and error is really the only way that you can know. Now I have done different ways, and for instance, we mentioned Dave Palumbo's way, which at the time, I don't know if he still does it like this, was to do 2,000 IUs of HCG every third day until you get a total of 10,000.
And then start the Clomid, or how does that work?
I believe you start the Clomid at the conclusion of that for 2 more weeks.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought.
It's a 30-day, I believe, PCT.
Right.
And what happened with that one is. And I talked to some other guys, I don't want to say their names, that were having real rough times with like depression and mood swings and stuff, no sex drive. There is some evidence and some research that says that when you do a very high dose of HCG, a few thousand, I mean, I know certain PCT therapies have 5,000 as an initial dose.
Wow.
That you can really fry out.
A whole bottle. Each of our bottles hold that.
Yeah.
Right? So wow.
You can really fry out your Leydig cells when you do that. Now the thing with those kind of cells is that they actually don't regenerate from everything that I've read. So when you burn those out, that's it. That's all you got.
So that means you won't produce testosterone anymore if you kill all the Leydig cells?
In essence, yeah.
Wow.
So if you're killing the Leydig cells that you have, I've read a lot of research that says that's it. You don't get more.
Right.
And those are the people that will have to be on testosterone prescribed for the rest of their life.
Right.
Is it possible that could happen to me or you? Perhaps. We'll see at the end of this. I mean, we're definitely going to get our blood work done to see what our bodies are producing.
We're doing significantly less than 5,000.
Yes, we are doing 250 IUs daily, and we'll be doing that for 40 days. And actually, we're starting with the Clomid in the beginning because we're doing such a small amount of HCG, we're getting a little kick with the Clomid to try to kick everything back in. No, we let ourselves come down to nothing. And we're trying to get that kick from the Clomid in the beginning, which is surely a little bit of bro science.
Right.
But if you research what Clomid does, this is in essence what it'll do for you. And we also added in the Arimidex every other day, just for the extra, estrogen and everything else that's going to go on our system. And that stuff's going to make you feel even worse. So you're going to want to combat that as well. Now, I have found, people ask like, what's a bad PCT? That when I did the high dosage of HCG, that I would crash really bad. I would get these really intense hot flashes.
Yeah, I remember you.
And I'd start pouring sweat, like my blood sugar was dropping, and then I would feel terrible afterwards. I was extremely moody, and I'd see a sad movie and I'd start crying, and I was very exhausted.
So you haven't got any of those symptoms yet?
Not yet.
Good. Well, that's good. So that the one question that I know people are going to ask out there is why are a lot of people say to not take the Clomid till after, like Dave said, that you shouldn't do them together. Your opinion, basically, what you just stated was that it's okay to do them together because we're doing such a mild dose of the HCG.
It's a slow and steady, very mild dose, just trying to bring it back slow and steady. Either the doctor had said that he would have liked to prescribe 500, and when I explained it my way, he said he thought it was interesting, and he said, yeah, he's like, I think that will suffice, and he'd like to see how it goes as well. And now I will say that I've been actually researching another method that has the Clomid later on. It actually involves aromacin also.
Okay.
That a couple of my buddies that are pros, I won't say names, are really liking.
Right.
And one of them, you know who he is, actually has done it this way. And he liked it, but the new way he's doing it, he actually said he likes it even better. Interesting.
Well, there's a lot of different ways and a lot of philosophies on this kind of stuff. I guess the main thing is that you've had so much success with it, so we're going to see how that works. A lot of people out there are asking, what is a bad PCT? And you just basically described what a bad one is. I guess the worst case scenario is to kill all the Leydig cells and end up not being totally screwed. And that's the worst. I
actually have seen guys that have gone through the PCT, whatever they were doing with their HCG and stuff, and gotten their blood work done and having numbers like 81, 92.
Well, I know that when you take the Clomid and HCG, temporarily while it's in your system, your testosterone is higher.
Yes.
So it's a matter of, is your body restarting it, or are you just going to basically, like the worst case scenario, when you stop taking it, it goes back to zero, and then you're in trouble. All right, everybody, you notice we are changed a little bit. We've been out for Dariel's birthday, and I've started editing the video, PJ, and realized somewhere along the line the camera ran out of batteries. So we're going to finish off what we were saying about a bad PCT. PJ was saying the worst kind of PCT is the kind where the testosterone doesn't come back and you fry the Leydig cells, and that's it, right?
Mm-hmm. That actually does happen. It can happen. It may or may not necessarily be because of the PCT, but the PCT certainly didn't help it. And then you have other circumstances where people have just tremendous ups and downs in hormone levels. I've actually had that happen to me before, doing it another way that I had done years ago, Dave Palumbo's way actually. And I know a lot of other guys that had rough experiences with that one also. So, you know, we've discussed that there at this point isn't enough long-term study to show what the ideal way is, but you have to use a little bit of trial and error and bro science to figure it out, which is basically where we're at now.
All right. The next thing I wanted to touch on was some of the things that were sent to me. We get a lot of emails, or we've been getting a lot of emails from you guys, and I got to thank you for that. You can send the questions to Aaron Singerman at RX Muscle, or you can send them to PJ or what is it? It's Braun Fitness.
PJ Braun Fitness.
PJ Braun Fitness at yahoo.com. But one of the questions that I received, and some of the things I've been seeing on the board, are people saying that what we're doing is a commercial for Envision Medical, and that what we're doing is somehow like tricky or a lie or kind of dishonest in some way. And I wanted to touch on that because I think it's a little silly, because what we are doing, yes, it is actually a commercial for Envision Medical, because we're represented by Envision Medical and they pay us to do this. But take that away, what we are doing can be done with your doctor, with medicine that you get however you get it. What we're talking about here and what we're doing doesn't necessarily have anything specifically and directly to do with Envision. They're just sponsoring what we're doing here, and they're providing us with an opportunity to do this the right way with the correct medicines, totally legal. We don't have to order it from any shady, black market type thing, and it provides us the way to not only do this but do our HRT. They provide us with the medications to do our hormone replacement stuff regularly. So you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, when we were younger, not that we're old, first starting doing what we're doing, I mean, they didn't have these HRT clinics all over the place. It was a much different time. And yeah, people were doing illegal things to compete as bodybuilders. It's not really discussed, but that's just the way it is. And now with all these opportunities to legally do things, this is what everybody should be doing. And the general public has a very poor misconception of what bodybuilding is and what steroids are. And it's considered so bad and you're going to take these things and kill your family and stuff like that. Right. In reality, these are medicines that are used quite a bit actually now, and can really improve your quality of life. And are we promoting Envision Medical? Yeah, but you can go to any hormone replacement clinic. We want you to go to Envision Medical. That's what we're doing our commercials for. But this is something that everybody should do regardless.
Absolutely, for sure. And what we're doing is this Project Small is an experiment to show you guys what can happen, and more hopefully what should happen when you do a correct PCT, because both PJ and I, and more PJ than me because I haven't come off in quite a while, has experienced bad PCTs. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we're doing the service of showing you all out there, the viewers, the proper way to do a PCT, and some of what you can't avoid, unfortunately, here, like PJ is saying, being tired and some of the aches and stuff, it's just going to happen. So we're going to show you, hopefully, the process of stage one from the beginning to where we are now and all the way through to the end. And hopefully we won't get too small in Project Small, but you're going to see the good stuff and the bad stuff, and a lot of the good stuff we can attribute to Envision Medical, because they're the ones who are providing us the medicine. So it's a little insulting to see people say that, because the reality is you don't have to use them. Use whoever you want, or don't even do PCT if you want, and just watch the videos and enjoy them for what they're worth for you. But I guess that's all we have to say about that.
Yeah.
So this was Project Small number 5. We'll be back in a week or so with Project Small number 6. Hope you've enjoyed and followed along through all the videos. If you haven't seen the rest of them, please go back and start at the beginning and check out our whole journey. So for PJ Braun, Aaron Singerman, Envision Medical.